Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video of the F122 driver career mode with Alpha Tauri, episode number 37 today for the Mexican Grand Prix of season 2, round number 15. If you missed the previous episode uploaded last Thursday at Suzuka, go and check that out, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel to see plenty more F122 driver career mode videos. But of course, coming into this one, we've got a new patch and a new livery for the McLaren car. Fortunately, they couldn't have waited for another week and so I could have finished the season, but I have done my best to keep the McLaren as similar to what it was throughout this season as well. Obviously, the Ferrari's reverted itself back to what it was before, and they've not even kept the sponsor updates as well on that. But R&D wise, minor rear downforce to balance it out as well. We've finally got a department event that isn't about my rival as well. To ask him which we should focus on. I suggest we got charity. We are going to put a brakes upgrade. This chassis starting to let us down, and we get driver acclaim, by the way, because the charity work was a great success, and we got some more driver acclaim, so that's definitely going to help in our push to be a Red Bull driver. As well, interestingly, we're going to have rain in the second half of the race. Now, that ultimately is only a light rain icon, so it depends how early that comes. But I don't think I've had a dry to wet race. Oh, I think we have had one dry to wet race. Can't remember how that went as well. But R&D wise, we're still behind Mercedes, but Mercedes haven't brought upgrades. We're a lot closer to them than we were at Japan. Red Bull back in front of Ferrari as they weren't before Japan. The Alpine there, you know, all of those three close together. I mean, it's very tight on the grid, as you can see, with no regulation change coming in for season 3. And the best thing is I've also got some fresh units as well, so really good units, and we're going to have an all fresh power unit for the final race at Brazil through that sprint race as well. It's time now for qualifying.
Okay, I know you're eager to get out there, but I'm going to need you to be patient for a few minutes. We're just trying to zero in on an oil leak.
Oh, it's been a while since we've had one of those. To be fair, we haven't had one for a couple of races now, but I mean, it's sort of a tradition on F122 to have a fault at the start of the to start qualifying. Anyway, to qualify, Mexico, good track for me personally. Should be a good track for the car as well, especially through sector 1 as well. It's only P11 though, so lacking slightly a little bit of pace maybe. I don't know. As well, we are a 10th up on our previous best time, losing a bit of time. As well, we're going to try and gain, so we lost actually a 10th there as we came through that sequence of corners, and then through the middle sector. Always lose time to the AI through this middle sector. We're gaining time though on our previous best time. It's a lot of time. Lost time on the exit. It took a little bit too much curb on that exit there. We're only fraction up on Sebastian Vettel. Ferrari not having a great time. Lando Norris takes provisional pole position, and then he's picked by Charles Leclerc. We're now a great chance through the stadium section. We'll make game 3/10 now. This is what we needed up to the line. Will it be in the top 10? I think it is. It's P7. So that was a bit unexpected. Didn't really. Well, that's that's how close it is. 3/10 was enough to gain me from what, P13 to P7. As well, it is super tight at the front, only a fraction separating the top 3. Obviously only the top 2 are interested in the Drivers' World Championship, so we'll see what we can do from 7th place on the grid. It's time for the race day's Mexican Grand Prix.
Welcome to Mexico City, the most populous city in North America, and home, of course, to the Mexico City Grand Prix. It's a sellout crowd as usual here at one of the shorter circuits on the Formula One calendar. And who, I wonder, will they be cheering on the top step of the podium today? At 2,285 metres above sea level, the thin air of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez poses a unique challenge, not just to a driver's skill, but to the efficiency of their engines as well. 17 corners then make a lap of this 2.6-mile circuit, expecting incredible speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour and overtaking into the braking zones of turns 1 and turn 4. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Max Verstappen, who will start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Norris, Perez, Carlos Sainz, Phoenix, Gasly, Ocon, Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton, Albon, Magnussen, Mick Schumacher and Russell, Stroll, Bottas, Robert Schwartzman and Guan Yu Zhou, Vettel, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you here with us today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
So our compatriot George Russell has decided to take an engine penalty, which is going to promote us to P6 on the grid. To be fair, Russell's had a much better season than Hamilton has. Hamilton AI in this career mode has just fallen off. And he starts Hamilton's AI only to P10. Did think about the medium to soft strategy, but then I decided, no, I think we're going to risk it. If the rain comes early enough, we might be able to capitalise on the soft inters. Hopefully it comes that we can gain a lot of time. As 5 red lights are out and away we go for the Mexican Grand Prix. Initially a good run on Sainz, but then you see him in that second phase of the launch. It always happens on F122 where the AI just get that better run on the second phase. We're going to dart down the inside of Sainz there. So I'm trying to go around the outside of Norris. No, gone deep into the turn out to turn 3, and that's going to allow Sainz to get back in front of us as we're watching Perez barges out Leclerc. Verstappen's too interested in Leclerc to watch Perez, and Perez, much to the locals' delight, takes the lead in the Mexican Grand Prix. As we now close up on our POV, Verstappen Perez going side by side. We got past Sainz there up to P5, so it's a good start for us. But Perez and Verstappen already going side by side, as is Norris and Leclerc. Verstappen trying to go on the outside, but Perez locks him off, as does Norris on Leclerc. And jump to lap 3, DRS has now been disabled, but Mark doesn't think it's wet enough for inters. But we all know that DRS disabled is the universal sign for saying it's time to come in. So it's a little bit of a gamble, I must admit, but if this game is like any of the previous games, it should be okay. It seems the AI have gone on, all of the AI have gone on for another lap. So will we actually lose out? We could lose out here to likes of Sainz, or we could gain big time. Let's see. It's a 2.4 second stop though, so that's probably their best stop of the season. And we're going to fast forward a lap later here, and there's a lot of cars in the pits, and there is Max Verstappen. So it's worked a treat. The rain, it was the right time to pit. So all of a sudden, we're in a net second place. We've jumped Leclerc, we've jumped Norris. Well, we haven't jumped Leclerc and Norris, they're still out there on their wet tyres. I think, actual fact, Norris is behind Sainz there. We've jumped Verstappen, and we probably will jump Leclerc as Verstappen goes for a move. and is unable to get past. There though is Charles Leclerc, for some bizarre reason, is still out there on soft compound tyres, leading the way for Red Bull. Not for much longer though. He is in there, and Leclerc is way behind. In actual fact, Sainz is gained out of this as well, because he's jumped Norris in the pits. Verstappen has another go down the inside. Doesn't quite get it, the turn in. It keeps his foot in though. Side by side we pinch into the curb and retain second place for now. As well, now Verstappen is being attacked by Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari, which is good news for us, gives us a breather as well. They're still going as well. Hopefully Leclerc can get involved as well, and you know, considering the fact that he needs that points for the championship. And they're still going side by side through the S section. This can only end horribly, and it's ended with Carlos Sainz without front end plate, and he'll have to come in for the pits. And that's unfortunate for Sainz, who was on board on course for a podium there as well. But as we watch Norris and Leclerc unable to get past Norris there. So watching Mick Schumacher having a Spinala. Should be able to carry on though, but he's stopped in the middle of the road. There's lots of reversing going on, and then Zhou just drives into him. I think that was Zhou. He just drove into Schumacher. Schumacher's tyre sheeting off, and that's a safety car as well, which is interesting because that's gonna, you know, look, Perez will be absolutely fuming about that, because he had a comfortable lead at the front, and there we almost go into the back of him as he brakes a lot. Almost like brake check me as the safety car's coming in there as well. Verstappen is now third from Norris and Leclerc. Hopefully Leclerc can get past Norris. He'll want to get past Verstappen as soon as possible. But we're looking to get, could we get Perez? Can we, once, just like on F1 2017 at this circuit, where I was in the Red Bull, he was in the Force India at the time, can we spoil the Mexicans' party? As well, the rain has got a bit heavier, but it should be getting it should now be getting lighter between now and the end of the race. We've got plenty of VRS to use down this main straight. How are we going to have a little look? Oh, Perez is locked up. He's gone deep into the corner. Thank you very much, Sergio, because that's me up into the lead. Perez has cracked under the pressure of leading his home Grand Prix, and you know, he went deep. A little bit of a lock up there. On the front right there, just went straight on. I will get confirmation of that, but I think he definitely locked up as well. Oh yes, on front right, complete lock up. You know, just good control not to actually just veer on, keep going straight on. And Verstappen now is all over the back of Perez, but Verstappen has crashed under the pressure to try and get past Perez into the back of Perez, and Verstappen has front wing damage, and it goes from bad to worse for Alpine, because not only has Verstappen got a pit for that to replace that wing, Esteban Ocon is now out of the race with an engine failure, so Alpine are not going to get any points in this race. Perez, we're going to deny Perez a victory here. The Mexicans, for the second time on this channel, the Mexicans are not going to be pleased with me. So through we come, the final corners. Perez not able to answer back after that mistake, and across the line for a third race win of the season for Alpha Tauri. What? The strategy definitely helped. You know, we were P5, and yes, this is a good track for our car. Gasly P6 in the end as well, so you know, he was making positions. Got stuck behind Hamilton, just showing Gasly's racecraft, able to make those overtakes in the end, not helping. Sainz and Verstappen did get Verstappen in the end to show him after Sainz and Verstappen had front wing damage. So 21 points now. Leclerc pretty much has this in the bag, but remember, Brazil is a sprint race, so if Leclerc has a bad sprint race, then that could be back on. And in the constructors, we're up to P3 in the Constructors' Championship. That's a great chance for some decent points, some decent money for Alpha Tauri to continue developing this car for Season 4. Haas also scored today through Kevin Magnussen, so they move up another position as well in that battle for there. But Williams also scored as well. Williams looking very comfortable now. Albon has scored all 14 of Williams' points compared to Tsunoda's none as well. If Red Bull decide to make musical chairs, and Albon is definitely making a name for himself for getting a promotion as well. Russell recovered to P8 as well, but for us, a third race win in the season, this is unheard of for an Alpha. This is a Season 2. We're in a midfield car that's been, start of the season. Apart from a couple of a fluke at Saudi Arabia, we did have a consistent point scoring in the lower part of the scores, and now since Austria, apart from Japan, we haven't been outside the top 5. So very good run of form. We'll try and round the season off to show Red Bull this is what we can do for Alpha Tauri. Let's see what we can do give us a chance to see what we can do in a Red Bull. We'll have to wait and see about that. That episode at Brazil will be coming out on Thursday, so all that remains, if you have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel to see plenty more F1 at 22 Drive Career Mode videos as and when they come out. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.